Soon as its final word the blessed flame had rised for utterance, straight the holy mill began to wheel, nor yet had once revolved, or ere another, circling, compassed it, motion to motion, song to song, conjoining, song, that as much our muses doth excel, our sirens with their tuneful pipes, as ray of primal splendor doth its faint reflex. As when, if Juno bid her handmaid forth, two arches parallel, and tricked alike, span the thin cloud, the outer taking birth from that within, in manner of that voice whom love did melt away, as sun the mist, and they who gaze, presageful call to mind the compact, made with Noah, of the world no more to be o'erflowed, about us thus of sempiternal roses, bending, wreathed those garlands twain, and to the innermost eon thus th external answered. When the footing, and other great festivity, of song, and radiance, light with light accordant, each jocund and blithe, had at their pleasure stilled, e'en as the eyes by quick volition emoved, are shut and riced together, from the heart of one amongst the new lights emoved a voice, that made me seem like needle to the star, in turning to its whereabout, and thus began, the love, that makes me beautiful, prompts me to tell of th other guide, for whom such good of mine is spoken. Where one is, the other worthily should also be, that as their warfare was alike should be their glory. Slow, and full of doubt, and with thin ranks, after its banner emoved the army of Christ, which it so clearly cost to reappoint, when its imperial head, who reigneth ever, for the drooping host did make provision, thorough grace alone, and not through its deserving. As thou heardst, two champions to the succor of his spouse he sent, who by their deeds and words might join again his scattered people. In that clime, where springs the pleasant west wind to unfold the fresh leaves, with which Europe sees herself new garmented, nor from those billows far, beyond whose chiding, after weary course, the sun doth sometimes hide him, safe abides the happy Calaroga, under guard of the great shield, wherein the lion lies subjected and supreme. And there was born the loving million of the Christian faith, a hallowed wrestler, gentle to his own, and to his enemies terrible. So replete his soul with lively virtue, that when first created, even in the mother's womb, it prophesied. When, at the sacred font, the spousals were complete twixt faith in him, or pledge of mutual safety was exchanged, the dame, who was his surety, in her sleep beheld the wondrous fruit, that was from him and from his heirs to issue. And that such he might be construed, as indeed he was, she was inspurred to name him of his owner, whose he was holy, and so called him Dominic. And I speak of him, as the laborer, whom Christ in his own garden chose to be his helpmate. Messenger he seemed, and friend fast-knit to Christ, and the first love he showed, was after the first counsel that Christ gave. Many a time his nurse, at entering found that he had risen in silence, and was prostrate, as who should say, my errand was for this. O happy father! Felix rightly nommed. O favored mother! Rightly nommed Joanna. If that do mean, as men interpret it, not for the world's sake, for which now they pour upon Ostians and Tadeo's page, but for the real manna, soon he grew mighty in learning, and did set himself to go about the vineyard, that soon turns to wan and withered, if not tended well, and from the sea, whose bounty to the just and needy is gone by, not through its fault, but is who fills it basely, he besought, no dispensation for commuted wrong, nor the first vacant fortune, nor the 10th, that to God's paupers rightly appertain, but gainst an erring and degenerate world, license to fight, in favor of that seed, from which the twice 12 scions gird thee round. Then, with sage doctrine and good will to help, forth on his great apostleship he fared, like torrent bursting from a lofty vein, and, dashing gainst the stocks of heresy, smote fiercest, where resistance was most stout. Thence many rivulets have since been turned, over the garden Catholic to lead their living waters, and have fed its plants. If such one wheel of that two-yoked car, wherein the Holy Church defended her, and rode triumphant through the civil broil, thou canst not doubt its fellow's excellence, which Thomas, ere my coming, hath declared so courteously unto thee. But the track, which its smooth fellies made, is now deserted, that mouldy mother is where late release. His family, that wont to trace his path, turn backward, and invert their steps, ere along to rue the gathering in of their ill crop, when the rejected tares in vain shall ask admittance to the barn. I question not but he, who searched our volume, leaf by leaf, might still find page with this inscription on't, I am as I was wont. Yet such were not from Aqua Sparta nor Casale, whence of those, who come to meddle with the text, one stretches and another cramps its rule. Bonaventura's life in me behold, from Bagnora Regio, one, who in discharge of my great offices still laid aside all sinister aim. Illuminato here, and Agostino join me, two they were, among the first of those barefooted meek ones, who sought God's friendship in the cord, with them Hugues of St. Victor, Pietro Mangiador, and he of Spain in his 12 volumes shining, Nathan the prophet, Metropolitan Chrysostom, and Anselmo, and, who deigned to put his hand to the first art, Donatus. Rabban is here, and at my side there shines Calabria's abbot, Joachim, endowed with soul prophetic. The bright courtesy of Friar Thomas, and his goodly lore, have emulvied me to the blazon of a peer so worthy, and with me have emulvied this throng.